Welcome back to Back in the 90s. I hope everyone is doing well and that you are as excited as I am to discuss this episode. If you are new here, hello. This is Back in the 90s, a Bojack Horseman recap series. In this series, we discuss plot, Easter eggs, notable quotes, fun facts, and more. Today, we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 3, Prickly Muffin. This is one of my personal favorites from Season 1 and possibly overall. This is the episode where we are introduced to the icon, Sarah Lynn, so let's get right into it. We begin the episode on a scene from Horsing Around. The scene starts out pretty normal, just the cast doing their lines in front of a live audience. That is until there's a boom in the shot. So naturally they have to cut while they get the boom out of the shot, and this is when Bojack gives the very young Sarah Lynn this incredibly bizarre speech.
And how about Sarah Lynn as Sabrina? Isn't she wonderful?
Oh, thank you.
Your family will never understand you. Your lovers will leave you or try to change you. But your fans, you be good to them, and they'll be good to you.
We are rolling. Sound speed.
The most important thing is you gotta give the people what they want. Even if it kills you, even if it empties you out until there's nothing left to empty. No matter what happens, no matter how much it hurts, you don't stop dancing, and you don't stop smiling, and you give those people what they want.
That's a surefire way to mess a kid up. In this scene, Bojack says to Sarah Lynn, "Don't stop dancing," and that's going to be important like much, much later, so mark that down on your Bojack continuity Excel sheets. Wait, y'all don't have Bojack continuity Excel sheets? Just me and the autism? Okay.
Sabrina from Horsing Around, but on her new dance pop album, Sarah Lynn wants you to know that she is hot to trot. What is the message behind your music?
America needs to know that I'm not that little girl anymore. I'm a grown-up, sophisticated woman now, and I have sex, and I do sexy things. People like sex, okay? And since I'm sexy right now, they like me.
In universe, it is 2002 during this interview. We know that because Sarah Lynn was born in 1984 and her first album came out when she was 18, making it 2002. In real life in 2002, the media was obsessed with over-sexualizing and exploiting minor or barely legal pop stars like Britney Spears, Rihanna, Beyonce. I mean, it was a little before Rihanna's time, but you know what I mean. She was like 15 when she released her first single. It makes me nauseous watching this depicted here, the exploitation and the over-sexualization and everything else. It really upsets me. What upsets me even more is the fact that Sarah Lynn didn't even want to be in this life. As we get more into her character, we find out that she was basically prepped for stardom. And it's different if a newly adult woman wants to become a pop star and be sex positive. I'm all for that. But it's put in a different light when it's a child who's been prepped for this. I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm gonna spoil stuff. I love Sarah Lynn.
Star and child actress Sarah Lynn celebrates her 30th birthday this month, raising the question, does anyone care about Sarah Lynn anymore? After all, she is 30. Here to answer that question, sexy 14-year-old dubstep wonderkind, Sextina Aquafina. Sexy 14-year-old...
Want to explain yourself?
So the Ryan Seacrest type interviews Sextina, who basically says that Sarah Lynn is now irrelevant.
You know where she should go? She should go wherever famous people go when they're done being famous and nobody cares if they live or die.
Who could that be?
Does anyone else let the theme song play out like most of the time? I would say I think I let it play out like 60% of the time. I just find it so groovy.
Who wants chocolate chip pancakes? I do.
What?
Like we discussed in the pilot, Todd is stupid, but he isn't a moron. And him using Horsing Around to try and manipulate Bojack into making him pancakes is honestly very clever. Not that you should manipulate people, that's not cool, but it is a pretty funny move from Todd here.
Start chirping.
Hey, Bojack, any plans for the weekend?
Still hate the troops, Boj?
Why didn't you refill your...
I'm trying to remember if anyone else ever calls him Boj throughout the show. I think Todd or Mr. Peanut Butter does at some point, but I'll keep an ear out for that. I just love that this paparazzi bird is calling him by a nickname.
Do something fun today.
Like what?
Like a cannonball! Like a buying you a new bed?
So Bojack and Todd go to the furniture store, which is called the Swine Within Reach. So while Todd and Bojack are at the store, these three girls come up to them and they start like excitedly yelling a bunch of letters at them. And I looked these letters up. I was curious if they meant anything, and they don't. The writers just picked a bunch of different letters and hoped that the fans would fill it in. So here is my submission. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh majestic maiden. Freaking call someone. Don't vanish. Really quick. Quiet people. Queen freaks and geeks. So Bojack, ever the humble guy, assumes that they are freaking out about him without even bothering to look around, which is such a rookie move.
It's Sarah Lynn and Andrew Garfield!
Huh? What the?
Kind of obsessed with how they animated Andrew Garfield. More often than not, the real-life celebrities are often voiced by the actual celebrities themselves. We'll meet them later on in the show, but some examples are Daniel Radcliffe, Margot Martindale, Jessica Biel, and Zach Braff. However, when the show was first starting out, it was a bit difficult to bring actors in, and Andrew Garfield turned them down. So Mr. Peanut Butter, aka Paul F. Tompkins, who voices Mr. Peanut Butter, because that's an actual person, Lord, anyway, stepped in to voice Andrew Garfield. And you might be thinking, why didn't they just change it to a different celebrity? Because the creators absolutely did not want to do that. They specifically wanted it to be Andrew Garfield. Sarah Lynn introduces Bojack to Andrew by saying,
Hey, Andrew, this is Bojack, my TV dad. Andrew's my boyfriend. We're a celebrity power couple. It's no big deal. It's a really big deal.
Sarah Lynn, I actually wanted to talk to you about that. When we...
Are you breaking up with me?
Oh...
So Sarah Lynn doesn't take the breakup well at all.
You think I won't make a scene, you limey bastard? Then you really don't know me at all. Hey, everyone! Who wants to see me take a dump on that sofa?
I like the little side eye that Bojack is giving Todd because Todd's the only person who raised his hand. So Bojack explains to Diane that he took Sarah Lynn to rehab, and Diane asks him how it felt to take the girl he raised on television to rehab. And basically, Bojack says it's hard and he was hoping that he would have time to reconnect with her. And Diane pitches the idea that they could reconnect after Sarah Lynn is out of rehab, and we get possibly the most self-aware quote from Bojack yet.
People don't usually want to hang out with me after rehab. I'm really more of a before rehab friend. I think it's going to be a long time before I see Sarah Lynn again. Who could that be?
Sarah Lynn tells Bojack that she appreciates him trying to help, but that she doesn't need rehab. She then tells him that she's good as new, and lifts her shirt to show that her wound is fixed up with what looks like duct tape. Two things to note in this scene. The first is how desensitized Sarah Lynn is to exposing herself to a much older man. Just keep that stowed away in your brains for now. And the second is, Bojack seems uncomfortable and embarrassed here, doesn't he?
Should you be taking all those pills?
It's deoxytriaxylphenobarbital. I got it from a doctor.
Your doctor or just a doctor?
I don't know, some doctor, okay? I met him at Adam Levine's Halloween party. I think he said his name was Doctor Who.
This exchange is very funny, and I wanted to make sure I included it because Doctor Who is mentioned again in the season.
All my life, I've never been forced to confront my problems head on. No one has ever said no to me. Ever. So, is it cool if instead of confronting my problems head on, I just hide out here for a little bit?
Sarah Lynn, I hear what you're saying, and I think I know what you need. You just need a strong, responsible adult to say, yes. Yes, you can move in with me.
This scene frustrates me. Sarah Lynn is quite literally begging for help by saying what she needs, and Bojack completely misses the mark. And again, Sarah Lynn is a grown adult who can make her own decisions, but Bojack is 20 years older than her. And fictional father figure or not, he was a father figure to her in some way. He sees this self-destructive path that she's going on, and he definitely knows that this is not a better option than rehab. In fact, I'm going to say that I think he's doing it for more selfish reasons. He wants her there because he likes remembering the show, and she makes him remember the show. Like, even in this screenshot, she looks miserable, and he's walking away singing the theme song. I've watched this show so many times, and every time this episode happens, I always think, why did he do this?
3 little orphans, 1, 2, 3. Who wants chocolate chip pancakes?
I do!
What's going on in here?
Morning, Sleepy Poo. You want pancakes?
Those two scenes are simultaneously adorable, and they also bum me out. Like, Bojack is so delulu. This man is recreating scenes from a sitcom. Like, bud, are you good? Seek help. Also, I love Todd being like, what is going on? And I think Bojack calling him Sleepy Poo is very, very cute. So Bojack is simply fawning over everything Sarah Lynn does and says. She makes some weird joke and Bojack says something about how she should do a shouts and murmurs. Also, if you notice, on the hand towel that Bojack is using to dry the glass, you can actually see a little like BH embroidered on it, and I thought that was neat. Sarah Lynn thanks Bojack for him letting her stay there, and Bojack mentions something about a guest room.
You have a guest room? Why have I been sleeping on the couch for 5 years?
You'll get the guest room when you've earned the guest room.
But like, Bojack's house is huge. Wouldn't he have multiple guest rooms?
All Andrew ever wanted to eat was stupid lasagna.
Andrew Garfield loves lasagna.
I don't want to talk about him. Really want to go shopping, but I'm not allowed to drive because somebody got a DUI.
That somebody was you, right?
I don't have to answer your questions. What are you, the cop that pulled me over after Adam Levine's Halloween party?
Kristen Shaw may get line of the episode because her delivery of because somebody got a DUI is so perfect. Her inflection was on point. Amazing. Anyway, Bojack tries to talk Sarah Lynn out of going to the mall by bringing up a quote, another time things got out of hand when shopping.
Oh, that's too much, man.
Really? Not the time when she gored herself with a bayonet and shat on a floor mop.
You know shit is dire when Todd has to be the voice of reason. Like Bojack, baby, these memories are not real. This was a show that you were on. A show in which we know you were traumatizing this girl in between takes. Like, dude.
I'm not the crazy one. Andrew's the one who flies off the handle whenever his agent sets up an audition on a Monday.
Andrew Garfield hates Mondays and loves lasagna.
Said I don't want to talk about it.
She said drop it, Todd.
I'm assuming that the bit about Andrew Garfield hating Mondays and loving lasagna was the reason that the creators were like, it has to be Andrew Garfield. Like, it has to be him. We can't change it. And I think it's so funny that they wrote this Garfield bit and they loved it so much that they were like, no, we need to keep this in. And to be honest, that's even funnier to me than the actual bit itself. It's a shame how this episode ends because it really is wild how protective Bojack is of Sarah Lynn. We've never seen him defend anybody like this before.
Stupid mall. I'll just tell my friends to come here.
Muffin, I've got to work on my book today, and I can't have a bunch of folks over making a lot of noise.
Oh, I see. I'm a burden to you.
Honey, of course your friends are always welcome here.
Cool, bye.
Can I invite a friend?
No.
So the next scene we have is PC yelling at Bojack for letting Sarah Lynn live in his house, and Bojack says to her,
Where else to turn? She broke up with her boyfriend, she stabbed herself and closed the wound with duct tape. She fired her agent.
so it was duct tape. If you look through the window, you can actually see Sarah Lynn talking to two lemurs at the party. And you can also see along his bookshelf, he has framed magazine covers. And I went back and looked, and it does look like these are the magazine covers that show up during his interview with Charlie Rose in the pilot.
Whoa, back it up, horsey. Did you say Sarah Lynn doesn't have an agent? Laura, hold my calls. Cancel everything. Ahab's got a white whale to catch, baby.
Wait, careful. Whoa, hey. Ah, lemur.
So the vibe I get from this is it's basically like if you yelled out somebody's race. Like if someone like snuck up on you or surprised you and you just yelled their race and gender in their face, which is yikes. Princess Carolyn could have totally just walked in the front door. She's quite literally Bojack's agent. I mean, she's agile as hell, so maybe she just wanted to show off. Very quickly, we see this scene of these people passing, carrying various items, and they are Fiesta chips, 50 different dips in one giant jar, party chains, and party whips. So my detective skills are telling me that something saucy is gonna happen, and they need snacks for after. I love how PC just kicks this guy out of the chair, and I love how he doesn't even move when he hits the floor, he just stays exactly where he was.
What it is, banana bread?
I would never quote this in real life unless I knew someone was a die-hard Bojack fan, but I'm not gonna lie, I say this in my head a lot.
I'm not looking for a new agent right now.
Whoa. Who says I'm looking for a new client? Slow your roll speed, racer.
Now this one I quote a lot in this delivery.
One of those agents who can't turn it off. Your Ari Emanuels and Vanessa Geckos and what have you.
Vanessa Gecko is actually Andrew's agent, and she's really great.
This is the first time we hear the mention of Vanessa Gecko, who becomes Princess Carolyn's nemesis in a way. Diane shows up to work on the book, but there is very loud music coming from the banger that Sarah Lynn is currently throwing, and Bojack starts to complain a little bit, and then he asks Diane what she thinks of Sarah Lynn.
Oh, I don't really think about her all that much. I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of her early work, which both satirized and celebrated youth culture's obsession with sex. But I do wonder, as a third-wave feminist, if it's even possible for women to reclaim their sexuality in this deeply entrenched patriarchal society. But like I said, I don't really think about her all that much.
Okay, was more asking, what do you think about her living here?
Oh, right.
I know there's a lot of dislike in the Bojack community for Diane. Personally, I do not subscribe to that mindset. I love Diane. And the speech that she gives about Sarah Lynn is, I think, the best display of her personality that we've gotten so far in the show. She's passionate and she's knowledgeable about the issues close to her heart, one of them being misogyny as a whole. And I feel like her character is so relatable because we can all go on little tangents like this when we're asked about something we're passionate in. Like me with this show, or 2000s pop culture, or where the hell Marilyn Monroe's body went for 6 hours after she died.
Well, what was your relationship like with her when you were working on the show?
It was very good, very professional.
Bojack, where did you go to college?
College is for ugly people who can't tap dance.
But I want to be an architect.
Sweetheart, Mommy didn't do what Mommy did to that Star Search producer so that you could be an architect.
Okay, first off, I know she isn't real, but my God, would it be on sight for Sarah Lynn's mom if she was a real person? What an absolute dog shit person. Why the hell would you say that shit to your child? For context, Horsing Around started in 1987. Sarah Lynn was only 3 years old. Did your 3-year-old daughter ask you to do that? No, didn't think so. So why are you forcing your daughter, who clearly doesn't even want to be in this industry, into this field, when all she wants is a normal life and a normal career? This shit pisses me off. And if you watch the Quiet on Set documentary that came out recently, we saw it a lot in that too. Parents just not giving a shit about the well-being of their kids as long as the money's coming in. It's disgusting. And some of these parents are pushing their kids into these fields because they wanted to be that. They wanted to be an actor. They wanted to be a singer. They wanted to be famous. But they weren't fucking talented enough. So now they're pushing it onto their kids, and it's fucking disgusting. Sorry, y'all. I know I just yelled a lot. One thing to know about me is I get very angry about children being harmed in any way, and I cannot stand shitty parents. They make me so angry. A few quick things. Bojack's hairdresser, her name is actually Sharona, and we'll be meeting her later on in the series. Also, after Sarah Lynn's mom says that yuck comment, I was really hoping somebody would react, and the hairdresser dog does react. He's like, yuck, what the hell? And I felt so vindicated by this animated dog. Diane says to Bojack, do you think you're letting her stay here to make up for your guilt? And Bojack gets pissed off and denies this and goes on further to deny all these other things that Diane did not mention, thus literally telling us all the reasons why he is letting Sarah Lynn stay with him.
I'm just helping out a friend. I'm not trying to play out some weird sick dad fantasy or resolve a deep guilt for past neglect or even try to retroactively fix my own childhood by recreating someone else's. And I'm especially not doing all those things at once.
All I'm gonna say here is pay attention to which reason he said first. There's a lot of ways to interpret the phrase weird sick dad fantasy, and given where this episode goes...
What happened? Did somebody hurt my precious baby?
Bojack runs out to find Sarah Lynn is totally fine, and she is having her friends tear down a wall for a spicy time hangout, and Bojack rightfully is fed up.
I thought this was a place where Sarah Lynn could finally be Sarah Lynn, but I guess that's too much, man.
I always loved that catchphrase.
Reason I have called this house meeting
Todd,
is because...
how many times have we been over this? You don't have the authority to call house meetings. Only I can call a house meeting. You can propose a house meeting.
The Sarah Lynn thing is getting out of control, okay? She's taking advantage of you.
I love how when they're talking, there's just this couple macking on behind them.
Look, I played a dad for 9 years on TV, so I think I know a little bit more about parenting than you two jokers.
He's literally making his intentions clear that he wants to be like a parent to her. So Bojack goes on to say that the kids of Horsing Around didn't need boundaries, they just needed love. And Todd says, this isn't a TV show, this is real life.
Real life.
Leave her on fire! Leave her on fire!
I love gags like this. I find them so cute and charming.
Passion love, and I'm gonna give it to her. I'm gonna give it to her so hard.
Yuck.
Know what would taste even better? An endorsement for a Slovakian yogurt. Could Vanessa Gecko get you that?
Vanessa Gecko got Andrew the social network. And she has skybox seats at the Staples Center. What do you have?
Well, I've got a table at the Comedy Central roast of Gloria Steinem.
Hey, Sarah Lynn, what say we spend the day together, just you and me, away from all the haters?
I want to say yes, but
Great, let's go.
When I first watched this episode way back in 2014, I remember thinking it was weird how desperate Princess Carolyn is being here. She just didn't seem like the type. Anyway, Bojack takes Sarah Lynn on like a special quality time day or whatever, and a song called Daddy's Girl plays in the background. Yep.
I'm feeling everything's gonna be okay.
Uh-huh. Hey, did you hear Kazaz got cancer?
What? Herb Kazaz has cancer?
Yeah, in the butt. He's got like 6 months, I think.
Well, that's horrible. Why would you tell me that now?
I don't know. The sun setting over those 2 hills made me think of a big ass, and that made me think of ass cancer, and that made me think of Herb Kazaz's ass cancer. You really didn't know?
No, Herb and I aren't on the best. Look, I'm trying to have a moment here.
This is the first time that we hear about Herb, and I like that from the jump we know him and Bojack are not cool, and we the audience have seen enough of Bojack by now to know that he probably did something.
Hey, I want to give you something.
Is this your TV Guide Award?
It's the most prestigious award I ever won. I always thought if I ever had kids of my own, I'd give it to them one day. I want you to have it.
Oh, wow. Bojack, thanks. You're sweet.
This would be such a sweet moment. This man who never had good parents trying to be a positive parental figure for this young woman who he indirectly helped raise and shape. He even says that he wanted to give this award to his own children. Like, this is so touching.
Na 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 la 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 na 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 la 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 la.
What are you doing?
Shh, just let the credits roll. Let the credits roll.
After their nice moment, Bojack's delusional self starts singing the end credits to Horsing Around. And I love how Sarah Lynn's side-eyeing him, like, I know I do eccentric shit, but this is weird. We then cut to the next morning where Bojack is woken up by Mr. Peanut Butter calling him.
Bojack Horseman. Did you get rid of your old TV Guide Award? This pawn shop on La Cienega was selling one with your name on it.
What? Wait, why were you at a pawn shop?
Oh, I just have a guy there who calls me whenever TV awards come in, so I can buy them. I put my name on. It's like I won it myself.
You gotta love how pissed off Bojack is when he realizes it's Mr. Peanut Butter calling him. Also, the fact that Mr. Peanut Butter goes to pawn shops to get awards to pretend that he won them is a little strange to me. He's portrayed as being so much more secure than Bojack, and I don't think a secure person would do that.
You are in big trouble, young lady.
I forgot to mention this earlier, but during some of the party scenes, Sextina Aquafina, who is the dolphin pop star we met in the last episode, her music is playing. So Bojack yells at Sarah Lynn for a little bit, and then he says he knows what she's going through.
You know what I'm going through. Why? Because you were on some dumb kid show a million years ago?
Hey, now.
I had my own fashion line when I was 10. By 20, I was packing stadiums. I get letters every day from boys telling me that I was the first girl they masturbated to. Literally, someone tells me that every day.
And Sarah Lynn is absolutely right. Like, she's been mean to Bojack in the scene, and she has been manipulating him a lot this episode, but she is spitting facts here. Like, her level of stardom and Bojack's are two totally different levels. She is this universe's Britney Spears. She was the biggest pop star in the world. Like, Bojack is deluded if he thinks they are all on the same level. When Sarah Lynn talks about those boys writing her those letters, it breaks my heart. I can't imagine being a little girl, like between the ages of 10 and 12, and receiving letters like that. And that's probably when it started, given that she was on Horsing Around, which was a kid's show. Being over-sexualized as a child can really do a lot of damage to a young person's brain. It can really affect their self-esteem, and a lot of times they attribute all of their value to their looks and their perceived desirability. And this is something we've seen from Sarah Lynn in this episode.
Since I'm sexy right now, they like me. I'm no longer cute, so I have nothing to offer this world.
I guess my point is, if you're one of these people who writes this weird shit to other people, maybe stop.
Guess what, Boj? In order to be a has-been, you have to have actually, been.
You are way out of line.
You're not my dad. You're just a rugged older man who provided me with a strong masculine presence during my formative years.
I'm not your dad, and you're not my child. We're just a man and a lady living in a house together, and we're both adults, and we're both a little drunk.
I hate this scene. I hate this scene. I want to cut off my arm and give it to the writers in exchange for them never writing this scene. And I know, if you've seen the show before, this scene is very important. Bojack choosing to sleep with Sarah Lynn is extremely essential to the plot. But oh my word, I hate this scene. It makes my fucking skin crawl. As we discussed last episode, Bojack was born on January 2nd, 1964, making him 50 years old when the show airs in 2014. Sarah Lynn, as we know from the top of the episode, is 30 years old. And here's the thing, I do think there are some instances where a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old can have a healthy romantic or sexual relationship. However, if a grown adult has sex with someone they knew when that person was a child, no, absolutely fucking not. Especially since we know that he met Sarah Lynn when Horsin' Around first aired, making her only 3 years old when he first met her. And the show lasted for 9 seasons, and we know from the pilot that it was canceled, quote, 18 years ago, meaning it ended in 1996, which means at her oldest, Sarah Lynn was only 12 when she stopped being around Bojack. A child he played a father to. There is nothing anyone can say to change my view of this moment. And I guess it technically isn't grooming, because he didn't interact inappropriately, like in a sexual or romantic way with her when she was young. But like, I don't know, man. If you have to say technically isn't grooming, it probably isn't good. Like, what? And also, it's not like he saw her once or twice when she was a young kid. He saw her every day for 9 years. Like, no, that's grooming. I'm calling it grooming. I'm gonna say it. It's grooming. It's grooming. I've decreed it. He was treating her like a child, like his child, this very episode. Ugh. Allegedly similar to a... Do I have to say allegedly? I'll keep it in just to be safe. Disgraced YouTube star. He's a groomer and a loser.
Allegedly.
And obviously I love Bojack. I wouldn't be making this video series if I didn't. But this, along with several other actions that he does throughout the show, are unforgivable acts. And one of the big themes that we see throughout this show is that Bojack gets chance after chance, and he continues to do these unforgivable actions. Anyway, let's move on. That scene raises my blood pressure.
Lit my ottoman on fire!
Seriously, you seriously don't know.
The only drug I need is horse.
Guys, what are you doing? Please don't do this. No, why are you? This is a very bad idea.
Putting this in at the sake of my blood pressure because poor Todd, justice for Todd. Also, who lit my ottoman on fire is kind of hilarious. So Todd, Bojack, and Diane are discussing the Sarah Lynn situation, and Todd, the episode MVP, says,
How do you not get that this is terrible?
Oh, you mean from a PR standpoint? Yeah, because if this got out, oh, I would get flayed.
Yeah, bro, why do you think that is? You creep? You nasty?
Being the voice of reason, it's exhausting. I gotta take an angry nap.
You enjoy that angry nap, Todd. You deserve it. At the bottom corner of the wall, right by where Diane's sitting, you can see a lemur was here, written in what looks to be permanent marker.
I know. She's taking advantage of me.
Actually, it kind of feels like you're the one taking advantage of her. She's the one with substance abuse problems and daddy issues.
Hey, we both have substance abuse problems and daddy issues.
Yeah, but she came to you for help.
Oop, Diane, honey, you dropped this. Here you go. Also, when Diane was talking, you can hear Todd in the background, like, grunting and thrashing around. I love how Sarah Lynn's just looking at pictures of pancakes.
And hard to get, only makes you want me more.
Go stand on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Seriously, when I first watched this episode, I remember being like, are they totally just changing PC's character in the 3rd episode? So Bojack tells Sarah Lynn he's taking her back to rehab, and she's like, nah, I'm gonna stay here. And Bojack says to her basically like, I'm serious. And then she says,
You were always gonna be there for me, like you said.
I will always be there for you.
Cut. Let's take 10.
That's 10, everyone. Let's make it a tight 10.
These pages are shit, you understand? Shit. I want to wipe my ass with these pages. It would defeat the whole purpose of wiping my ass.
I know I teased Bojack earlier for doing the same thing, using scenes from the show as real memories, but the difference is Sarah Lynn was probably like 9. Anyway, so Bojack puts his foot down and is like, for real, you can't stay here. And Sarah Lynn's response is honestly a bit chilling.
Oh, I know, but I can, so I will. I'm at a place right now where I never need to grow as a person or rise to an occasion because I can constantly just surround myself with sycophants and enablers until I die tragically young.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty much too late for me. Well, them's the breaks. Take it sleazy, everybody.
Like, how cold and how tragic is that? People would assume she isn't all that self-aware given the fact that she's zooted all the time and does eccentric stuff, but she knows. She knows what path she's on and she has accepted it like it's normal and like it's okay. And that's heartbreaking. And I think that's one of the things that Bojack is thinking here as he's watching the girl that he raised on television walk away after saying that harrowing statement. I also think he probably noticed that she said, take it sleazy, everybody, which Bojack said earlier in this episode in a flashback. And that probably scares Bojack that they are so similar and that Sarah Lynn's on a very similar path that led him to ending up the way he is.
Oh, by the way, I called Vanessa Gecko and I'm meeting with her tomorrow. Thanks for the suggestion.
No!
Hey, you guys want to hear my new catchphrase? Suck a dick, dumb shits.
But of course, my girl knows how to lighten a mood before she leaves.
Laura, the dummy took the bait. Now for phase 2. Link to the trades that Andrew Garfield's agent is taking meetings with his ex. Get it all over town. Wait an hour, then get me lunch with Andrew on the books for this weekend. Someplace Italian.
I love crafty, clever Princess Carolyn. Watching that for the first time, I was so satisfied and pleased that all of PC's weird behavior in this episode made sense. Mainly because originally watching this, I was like, why does PC want her as a client so bad if she's, quote, a PR hurricane? Also, just again, PC with that agility, man. She just climbed up that wall like it was nothing.
I really blew it, didn't I?
I mean, maybe you could have been a better role model when she was young.
Huh? Diane? He could have done a lot more than that. I'm about to take away the crown I gave you earlier.
Wait, no, that's not even what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not my fault, it's society. Everything is because of society.
Bojack,
Dude, just let him have this.
You can feel Diane's frustration in that scene. More importantly, though, this scene just further showcases Bojack's inability to take accountability and responsibility for his own actions.
So what'd you get? Anything good?
Oh, I got everything.
This introduces a subplot that happens throughout the rest of the season. Also, I never really thought about it, but living in this world must be insane. Like, some of the members of the paparazzi can fly. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Back in the 90s. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Next episode, we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 4, Zoe's and Zelda's. We're really starting to get into it, and I'm pretty excited. Until next time, I'm Joe without the E, and I'll talk to you guys soon.